some of the things that I'm seeing is that a lot of people are spending their time playing games. I was looking at some infographics online, and one of the things I noticed was that in this infographic, it was an infographic about the top 100 visited websites in terms of traffic on the internet. And, you had things like Spotify, you had things like, SoundCloud, and there were things like that. YouTube was one of the top. YouTube was definitely one of the top. Of course, Facebook is one of the top. Of course, Google. But I also saw something that was really interesting to me. I noticed that Twitch, the video sharing, it's a video site that is more dedicated towards the gamer community. Even though people are using it for more than just gaming, I would say it's very highly motivated and influenced and catered to the gaming community. That particular site had more traffic than Spotify and Pandora and SoundCloud, which means that a lot more people are visiting or interacting with Twitch than music streaming sites. So I think it's very interesting because it tells you a lot about what people are doing online. What are people really doing online at the end of the day? Are they just looking for music all the time? I don't believe that to be so, just based upon some of the data that I've seen around internet traffic. So looking at Twitch as being one of the main places that people are spending time online gives me some insight to, well, guess what? Maybe people are very interested in playing games with each other online. People are very much interested in interactions with each other online. The only reason that you really are going to go to like Twitch is to look or watch somebody play a game or talk about a game that you're interested in. And I think, that's a big part of the interaction that they're providing on a platform like Twitch. But I think what's interesting about Twitch is that people are very much engaged into the gamer's story, what story they're creating on screen. And I think that is something that we should not overlook with respect to what keeps people interested. I think that storytelling is very interesting. It's very compelling, and it will keep people engaged a lot longer than simply being focused or self-centered on, what I'm doing. Because I think, as a human being, especially, some of us are able to tell better stories than others. Some of us live more interesting lives than others. It is what it is at the end of the day. But I believe that people are more willing to spend their time when they can get invested in a story and follow a story. So, that's one of the things that Twitch is allowing people to get into, is like really get engaged with a story through a game. In some cases, people are watching Twitch more like, a sport. It may be like they're watching their favorite athlete do things within a virtual environment. All of that is to say, though, that I believe that there is a great opportunity for music technology to make use of these ideas that are in the gaming community and push things forward and create new ways of engaging with each other. One of the things that I'm understanding, or I'm thinking about now is, how can music move more into the virtual domain? I think, one of the key benefits of pondering this is that in the virtual domain, we get an opportunity to start over. We get an opportunity to correct certain things that we may have done wrong, so to speak, within the within the physical domain. And let me not be abstract about that. Let's talk about this more specifically. One of the things that we may have done wrong in the physical domain, in the real world, is we allowed a devaluation of music by making a lot of music dependent on a very specific company's technology. We allowed it to be very dependent on a very specific company's platform without having any real say as the music community on how that was implemented. I think, the transition towards being more iTunes based for some period of time, because I think we're past that now. I think we're getting out of the iTunes era and we're moving more and more deeply into the era of streaming. But I think that, in the virtual world, we'll have an opportunity to rethink how to create a value proposition for the music that is more incentivized. Right now, there's no real incentive for people to necessarily own music, because there's, as a consumer, I don't necessarily care about owning the music. I care mostly about being able to consume the music. I care mostly about being able to listen to the music that I want to hear when I want to hear it. Whether I own that or whether I'm borrowing that from some online digital streaming platform, there's no more incentive for me to own it in most cases as a general consumer. But I believe that if we are in a virtual environment and we can implement some sort of incentive for ownership, whether that means, in a gaming environment, for example, a lot of purchasing behavior is incentivized through in-app purchases, upgrades. It's a lot of transfer of virtual currency within the gaming community to upgrade the experience in the virtual world. And I think that's where we can kind of reshape the narrative on what ownership of music looks like, because we potentially in the virtual world can create upgrades or upgraded experience based upon ownership of certain assets within the virtual world. See, in the gaming world right now, because they're already trained to believe that, okay, if I buy, this gun, or if I buy this, tool, or buy this thing within the virtual world, I'll have the ability to do more stuff, and I'll have a better time when I'm playing, or I'll be able to accomplish more. We don't have that same type of incentivized purchasing behavior within the music domain. So that's an opportunity for us to kind of consider, like, okay, well, how do we incentivize ownership of a digital asset? Because in the game, the virtual gun is, it's a virtual gun, and it can only really be used by the virtual the virtual player, or the avatar, or the character that's being controlled by the human. But with music, of course, the human can enjoy it, but also there may be some opportunity to think about how can we make that more of a community thing that other people can enjoy.